interesting to say the least, to see how today is going to go. So let's see let's just see what's going to happen, because this is going to be very, very interesting. As we have to the bottom left-hand side, the red Protoss player to kick us off in this best of 3. We are best of 3 all the way throughout, by the way, today, guys, apart from our best of 5 finals. So starting off on best of 3. To top, bottom left-hand side, the red Protoss player. It is nice. And down to the bottom right is going to be the yellow Zerg player. It is Cell. Some PvZ to get us started between two of the Taiwanese players who are going to be playing today. We're held on the Taiwan server. We are indeed, yes. So, yeah, two of the Taiwanese players playing here today. It'll be interesting to see how they do. Interesting to see how far they get, obviously. The winner of this actually plays Snoot in the second round, and that's why we are kind of... This is actually probably... I actually think this is probably one of the best matches to cast to begin with anyways. But we'll also probably wanted to cast this so we can go into Snoot's match in the second round, because that always makes a lot of sense to broadcast the Snoot games. I mean, everyone loves Snoot, right? And people like to see how Snoot's doing and see how he puts up a fight with the Koreans and so on, so we shall see. Anyways, you see this probe coming around. It's just going to patrol and block the third hatch, so nothing too crazy. Hatch gas pool from the Zerg. And Nexus after gate for the Protoss player as well, which will lead into his core, so nice standard openings in these early stages. So it is Wednesday. I would love to hear from you guys in the chat. Let me know how you're all doing today. Let me know how your day's been so far. How your week's going, maybe. Let me know if you've got any goals for February, or maybe if you... I don't know. You guys tell me. Always interested to hear anything you guys have to say. Let me know what's up as we look to spend the day watching, or I guess not the day, but spend the morning watching StarCraft together. This morning, mid-afternoon, whatever, you know. Next few hours watching StarCraft together. That is our goal, to watch some StarCraft. And that is what we shall do. We will, of course, bring you guys all of the round of 4 matches, so both semi-finals and the finals, so we're guaranteed, you know, a good few series today. A good few series. What's up, Cannibal Sheep, in the chat? How you doing? Hello. And again, guys, just as we have a couple more moments while the Stargate sets up, just before this game really gets going, I will again just say, please do consider just taking a minute to go out of the game or out of the stream. Use that Match Arena code, use the coupon. The sooner we use up all the coupon codes, the sooner I can stop spam talking about it as much. So you guys can get me to shut up. If you get on there, get that coupon code used up, and make the price pool $100 basically. That's what the goal is. It's because last week we didn't actually have coupon codes, because we didn't get them made by Matcherino, so now Matcherino are going to make... This week Matcherino gave us 100 coupon codes instead of the usual 50, so we really have to try to make sure that we get those all used up, so... Anyways, with all that said, we did see the Stargate coming down. There is going to be an Oracle on the way. A fast evolution chamber actually from Cell. I do wonder if this is going to be some sort of aggression from him, with just a lot of Zerglings and some drops. It looks as though maybe not, and perhaps just a variant where he is going to go for an upgrade. But that said, I mean, he doesn't have that much gas for an upgrade. Only 60 and only mining with 1 worker at a time here. He is droning those. It's not as though he's going for a lot of aggression. Oracle coming out, and we'll actually chase these Zerglings away. With the Pulsar Beam actually activating, that does cost quite a lot of energy, so not a lot of energy left on the Oracle to harass with. So that's already a little bit of a positive from Cell here, that he's gained by using these Zerglings. And as he comes across the map, there is going to be this third Nexus. However, well, I mean, the pylon's not ready. There isn't a depth in the mineral line. This Overlord that wants to drop is over to the side, but don't think he's really going to be able to get away with it. Stalker is patrolling at the sides, and I guess with Carapace it does change things a little bit here, but still the Stalker's going to get some good damage done. And you're going to see the MSC coming down as well to help out. The Stalker might go down. He's still going to aim for the Overlord. Oh, he just doesn't get it. He gets away on 1 HP. Overlord is very fortunate there, just escaping by the by the skin of its teeth, quite literally. That really was quite down to the wires. You see 2 probes going down in the natural as well, so overall from Cell, not bad. I mean, a couple probes, a Stalker as well. He gets some good scouting information too. He forces the Oracle to pull back home. Cell gains a lot from this initial attack, actually. He gains a lot. Now we do see +1 melee coming up from Cell here to the right hand side. We do just see a Stargate, second Stargate dropping down from Nice, so he's going to go +1 air weapons, and he's going to start building into a lot of Phoenix and really focus on Phoenix play over the next few minutes. And whether that leads us into carriers and just Sky Toss in general or not, but that remains to be seen. Do you see a lot of Lings on the way out? Bane Nest is currently building as well, and so in the very near future we're going to be seeing potentially the little bit of a Ling Bane burst. This is actually becoming a little bit common as of late, where we see kind of a lot of Lings and Banes being used aggressively in ZVP around the 7-minute marker. Just looking to hit just before there's a lot of tech up for the Protoss player, before he's really ready to fight kind of a lot of Ling Bane with, enough sentries, force fields, etc. And here we go, actually even the Queen's jumping into an Overlord and going to start moving over to the left-hand side. So, Cell, he moves on over to the left with all of the Lings, while the Phoenix are going to intercept this Overlord. However, Queens can pop out of it, and they will start a fight against these Phoenix. So, they'll start a fight here. The Overlord will pull back, gets transfused. There's the Balins morphing in, and, well, here we go. The aggression is about to begin here as we see the Queens. Nice transfusion again, nice little bit of micro, just fighting against these Phoenix, getting them lower and lower and lower. Now we see two Zerglings have already popped the Stasis Ward. That's nice, getting rid of a wave of this defense that's available for the Protoss player, as the Balins are going to start running forwards. Double overcharge, nice force field to buy some time. And the overcharges are doing a lot as the Banes, though, they still do connect in the end. A couple of them get towards the mineral line. Queen's being lifted now by the Phoenix. I think in the end, though, this is going to be good and nice. I mean, he defends this wonderfully. It all comes down to, I think, those overcharges. I think, actually, it was just too much, and he just sat in those overcharges for way, way, way too long. As we're going to see another wave of Banes morphing in. These Phoenix spot them, though. They should really turn around, start lifting those up and cancelling them, but I guess he's just eager to get across the map and do damage. I mean, honestly, why not? Because at the same time, when he feels he has enough to defend at home, then across the map he can do so much more. I mean, he picks off a Queen and actually heads back home, which I don't agree with. But actually, I mean, still, I mean, you can go back there later, and he's going to pick off more drones. I mean, you can already see there's thought like 40 drones to 59 probes. It's not pretty for Cell when it comes to economy, as we see these Phoenix. I mean, they're just lifting up these Banes. I mean, a pylon goes down at the front. That's not really the end of the world at all, as a bunch of Lings do start to stream in towards the main base, and that's a little bit more concerning. But I mean, the probes can just pull away from this mineral line already, and as they pull away from this mineral line, they'll go down the low ground, and well, there's going to be more units here. I think that's the only thing he's missing, just actually the ability to warp in a couple more units just to truly help out with this. Phoenix is going to start lifting Lings in the main to try and protect the pylon. You know, you might think it's going to be a little bit ridiculous, but if you've got the energy and all you need to do is clean up and hang on, then why not? One Zergling left on the pylon here, he might actually still get this kill. As he actually pulls away, and the Phoenix will lift it up anyways. Still a 15 worker lead here from Nice, and now dropping down the fleet beacon. He will continue to go in towards Sky Toss here as, I mean, a couple more sentries getting warped in just to help to keep on defending. Very preemptive force field there, but hey, it does its job. It keeps those Zerglings out. Doesn't matter when you drop the force field, as long as it's down when the Zerglings get there. Obviously, dropping it on time and the last possible moment is better, because if you do that, you're much more likely to get into a situation where you have, if you drop it down like that, then you have it there for longer, so that helps. But other than that, it's completely fine the way he did it. He stopped the Zerglings getting in. And while we see Cell in recovery mode now, droning up, starting a fourth hatchery, starting up his tech with the lair, taking a lot of extra gases. These Zerglings that got caught in a stasis ward do now just back away. As, ooh, actually going to catch a sentry in a depth, so a bit of a misplay here by Nice. Needs to be a little bit more careful on that. We do see a force field coming down nicely to protect this cannon. Phoenix still gathering themselves up together here and towards the center. As these carriers moving forward, moving on out from these Stargates very shortly. I mean, I say very shortly. Carrier build time is pretty ridiculous. It takes so long to build a carrier, like 80 seconds or something, 86. It takes such a long time to build a carrier, so we're just waiting on the carriers to come up, and then we should be good to go. As we see a couple of things up the ramp again, and force field pulp, stasis ward as well. There's so many points of defense here for the Protoss player, and Cell just isn't finding anything. Phoenix picking off an Overlord, and I guess we'll see them going across the map. I mean, at this point, I think you should feel safe to go across the map and to try and, pick up some drones, get some queen kills or something. He's got +1 on these Phoenix, and he's got a lot of energy too. May as well put it to use. So he's going to come across. Now there's a good, clump of queens here at the front to begin with, but they don't have transfuse, so it's possible he can fight this because, well, yeah, I mean, the +1 of weapons is quite a lot. He's actually just going to lift up all the queens because I guess as well, why not? Swordcaller finishes in the back, which means he'll probably have to relocate 1 or 2 of his Phoenix, but and he's going to pick off all those queens, and now he just works his way through the mineral line. Doesn't actually have that much energy stored up, because he did use a lot of it defending against Zerglings and lifting those up one at a time. So he doesn't have as much energy as you might expect, but I mean, he's going to find himself another Overlord kill. I mean, this is the problem. If you're behind against Phoenix, and then the Phoenix start doing damage, well, I mean, the Phoenix are kind of a unit that put you behind no matter what. because the idea is that you just kind of go over greedy against them, but obviously Cell isn't in that sort of position, so nice. He's already in a lead, and he's just creating more of a lead with what's happening so far. You do see a few Phoenix just collecting on the right-hand side. A couple of carriers to the left, sentries, and a couple of Zealots underneath them. So you see these Phoenix coming forward. There's another Queen getting picked off here towards the upper base. As the Nexus will come down to the left-hand side, try and put the pylon down as well. Zenglings will get rid of that probe right there. So probe getting taken down as we've seen some Lings will come up to try and fight this, but I mean, now he's going to see the carriers, and again, what do you really do from this point? He's making 9 Infestors. It's going to be his attempt to answer this sort of composition, this army. I don't know, man, like, 9 Infestors does not really seem like the sort of investment that's going to pay off right now. And he's going to have them popping with fungal growth, but I mean, what does he do? Fungal all the interceptors? Is that his real goal here? Because he needs some kind of follow-up as well. I mean, it's all well and good doing a little bit of that, as actually fungal growth these Phoenix into position, which is nice, and he might pick off a couple of those. And that's great and all, but despite the fact he is losing a bunch of these infestors as well. One last, I mean, what a waste actually. I mean, look at this. He's got what, 6 infestors left? He lost 3 of them, and only 1 of them has energy anymore. So he's gonna kill like some Phoenix, and now his infestors are completely useless for the next couple of minutes, which just gives Nice even more time to build up into even more carriers and into an even better position in this game. This is not going well at all for Cell, and he's just gonna again continue to maintain his lead. And again, I mean, this is just game number 1. There's chances to fight back, but this has actually been quite a dominant performance from Nice, because again, his initial defense was very solid. His entire game plan has kind of been good, and he hasn't maybe made that many mistakes either. I think maybe a couple of like letting a couple of units stray too far forwards and bits and pieces here and there. I think that's about it in terms of what we've seen. As we'll see those Zerglings picking off these couple of Adepts, they will go down. And Nothing's just going to continue sitting up to the northern side of the map. I mean, well, a Spy is on the way, a Hive is built in too, but what do you really aim to get into? I guess the Vipers is what your overall goal is at this point. Going into Vipers, and I mean, it's just not pretty at all. We do see these Zerglings here from Cell just gathering up, working their way through this hatchery. We've seen this Oracle just getting pushed away by a couple of Queens once again. So again, little bits and pieces right now. We're just going to be seeing the Interceptors going forwards, and Zerglings, a lot of them starting to get cleaned out rather quickly. So a lot of things getting pushed away right there. So you see Adepts and a few High Templar going to be joining up together. All of this joining up just underneath this mothership. So I mean, here we go, right? Just going to start moving across the map, and well, a lot of Lings here from Cell going to start moving forwards as well. A couple of them going to start leading the charge. I mean, this is, look at the unit tab again, like 6 Infestors, 3 Corruptors. Nah, not happening. Neuroparasite will come down. I mean, if he manages to Neuroparasite this army and win the game, I am literally going to be amazed. Like, that would be like the one way he could maybe do this, because his own army isn't strong enough. So I really do feel as though he has to just try. I mean, it's probably his best bet. I mean, I'm sort of slating it, but it's probably the better option. I mean, actually, a few more Corruptors coming out too. I mean, carriers generally do need Void Ray support to fight against Corruptors, but it might just be enough here anyways. Here you go, fight will begin. I mean, I say fight will begin, he's just sort of picking away at this base, really. A couple of force fields at the back side, stops some Zerglings from getting in as well, and this base right here is going to go down very quickly, and well, now these Spore Crawlers aren't going to last very long either, and Interceptors are staying pretty strong for now. As we do see the Burrowed Infestors moving forward. Does he have his own detection? Does he have an Overseer? He does, but it's a bit of an awkward position. We've got to try and figure out how he probably wants to fight into this. As again, I mean, I guess he's going for those Neuroparasites. He's got the Banelings as well. There you go, Infestors will burrow forwards, and well, I mean, Storm just comes down on top of them. Nice fungal growth actually on top of the majority of the army, but now feedback's coming down, and every single Infestor does end up dying. It will be GG in the tournament. You can put your own money in too, but again, that's not necessary for now. Just use up those coupon codes. It adds in $1, doesn't cost you anything. And again, the sooner you do that, the sooner I shut up about it. Which would be nice, because then we can talk about other things in the breaks. As we jump back into this series, we do have game number 2. To the bottom right-hand side, the red Protoss player is Nice. Taking game number 1. Again, I would say pretty solid play in the first game. As his opponent to the top left is going to be the yellow Berserk player. It is Cell. a disastrous fight to the end of that game. Lots of storms, a few feedbacks. It went very well for Nice. Sorry. I mean, he was just so far ahead anyway. There was no real way he was going to be able to fight against that army. He wasn't properly equipped. You know, while it wasn't the best of fights from him, he just was not properly equipped still to you know, make that happen at all. So it was a little bit unfortunate. As you do see this probe just coming in towards the upper left-hand side of the map, a hatchery coming down on the natural expansion, starting to build up over here. And this probe will just come around, scatter around the back of these minerals. So again, just scouting early, it's a hatch gas pool against what will be a gate nexus core. So once again, in the very early stages, we're talking about a very standard way of playing. No real shocks, no real surprises, just straight up standard stuff to get us started in game number 2. Battleship Vestige as well, and this is a map which has had some controversy about being in the map pool in Legacy of the Void. With less minerals on the map and only 5 bases for each player, it does mean that there's a very limited number of resources, which can create some very weird games because there isn't really enough resources to go properly into the late game on this. I mean, you can hit a late game army and you could probably remax once, maybe at most twice, depending on how large a remax it has to be. But then you're going to really start struggling for resources, and a lot of players have found issue with that, and especially in the current meta like Skytoss and so on, which is generally so efficient and generally relies on you kind of outmining your opponent and so on. It's definitely difficult. It's definitely difficult. Of course, this is our first series of the day. We are in the round of 32. The winner of this actually plays Liquid Snoot, who we are going to be going into next. We'll just follow the winner of this into the match against Snoot. And then from there we'll go into maybe even Snoot's round of 8. We'll just see what happens. Snoot signed up to this event like literally 3 or 4 minutes before it the sign-up ended. So he actually had a pretty good run last time around he was in this. He played against I think he played against Gumiho, but I actually think he got knocked out by Gumiho in either the round of 8. I think it was the round of 8. But he had an okay sort of run. Again, guys, if there's a few, like, if it's a little bit FPS laggy and so on, there's really not much I can do about it. It's because Blizzard have kind of, like, decided to enable VSync and stuff, and it's just a bit of a mess. I'm actually looking at my expert right now. It looks very laggy. So let me know if it is a little bit of an issue. It shouldn't be that bad. In fact, that looks a bit worse than it usually does. Okay, well, let me know if it's okay or not. If there's any issues, we can try our best to do bits and pieces here and there to fix it. Anyways, a lot of lings on the way up, and this time it does look more so to be a lot of aggression early rather than just just a handful of Zerglings dropping and going from there. As we see those lings just spotting the Oracle. I'm going to pull to the side and get ready to jump into this drop-in Overlord. As you see a lot more of these Zerglings starting to come down the left-hand side of the map here. So Cell coming down the left-hand side. And again, he's got a lot of these Zerglings to work with. As Overlord just going to look to maybe go in towards the main in the next couple of moments. He's going to hit the front. We do see that Adept taking a little bit of damage. I mean, another pylon will come in to finish the wall though, and well, let's see what's going to happen. I mean, Cybercore might be under some pressure. Where is the Mothership port? Non-existent? Oh dear. I mean, I guess he's got another Oracle though. Here comes the Lings in towards the main base. The Oracle will come and deal with this. The MSC will pop at the natural, I guess. So he's actually pretty well defended in both locations now, as I'm just going to be seeing not too much done. Oracle didn't get too much done across the map either. 0 kills. So it doesn't really achieve a lot. But neither does Cell with this attack, and you're just going to be seeing Phoenix on the way up once again. It'll be interesting if Nice tries to play Skytoss again, I guess. It'll be interesting if that's what he's going to try and go for here, as we do see that Phoenix starting to work its way through this Overlord. So Overlord's starting to take a little bit of damage, and just going to be seeing the Zergling's going to have to back away up the top side. So Overlord actually taking quite a lot of damage right now, and will get taken down eventually by this Phoenix. You see the Zealot is just going to get taken down by the Zerglings. Going to see another Adept walking in at the front, as he's just killing off this pylon to make sure he can access the map in the near future. Obviously a much different follow-up this time from Nice. I think that's the most important thing to pay attention to. And you see the Twilight Council coming down, and just going to be seeing the Twilight coming down instead of a second Stargate. Basically means we are going to see resonating glaives, I suppose, is the most likely option with the number of Adepts we're already seeing and so on. Nice little defense here, pulls his probe back, keeps it alive against these few Zerglings that are looking for a pick-off like this, looking to try and delay things in the early moments. They're starting to build from Cell as well, and a few more drones just coming into play. Another Queen about to pop out from the natural expansion. And the third Nexus does now go down, and that should be pretty safe at this point. You know, with the Mothership core sat overhead, for example. Yeah, I think this should be pretty safe overall. So, Mothership core just going to sit overhead. We see these Adepts just watching as the Zerglings come forwards, and yeah, Zerglings just going to be picked off one by one of these Adepts there. You can see the Robo facility coming down as well. So Robo coming on in, Forge comes in on the natural expansion too. And we just continue to set up into this with this Oracle coming in from the right hand side. Just going to fly on over, and yeah, just going to be seeing the Zergling now just on the watchtower. Is having an okay sort of time as well, I guess. So do you see these Zerglings just moving around from Cell still, having a little bit of a look to see where he might want to go next himself, as we're going to be seeing this Oracle. Going to keep on sitting around overhead, just keeping track of these lings and just looking to see what next, where you're going to be. Ling Bane is a composition of play from Cell, going into the Hydra Den too. The first Banelin's on the way up, which will of course help a lot going up against these Adepts in the very near future. As the one Oracle could maybe use itself to try and get rid of a few of these Banes. And Adepts actually going to start shading in. Oh, the Stasis Ward on the high ground. I like it. Oh, this is actually really cute because now, what do? Like, you send a single Zergling up, the Adepts are just going to protect against it. You're going to see one Zergling has managed to pop the first Stasis Ward, and the second one gets popped too. Okay. It's a nice idea, but actually Cell did a nice little counterplay against it. He correctly responded. And you're going to see those Banes. Please don't have those Adepts shade in like that. That would have been dreadful. Once you see, I mean, just so much damage being done by these Adepts. Another wave of Banelings coming forward, you'll have to split once again. And actually, Banes are doing quite a bit here. In fact, they clean out a lot of these Adepts. And that's the power of the Banelings. You really just need them up in time. And you should be able to turn this away as we see the Adept just shading over to the side. And we'll pull down in towards the natural expansion. A Warp Prism will go up the left-hand side now. So, a Prism up the left from Nice. And just looking to see what he can do with this. Warping in a few Adepts on the left side. And you see the charge upgrade is coming up to finishing as well. I mean, it's going to be his mid-game sort of composition here. Charged on Immortal Archon. As you see the Hydras actually to the left-hand side of the main, going to intercept this Warp Prism, and it will go down. So Cell with some good defense here over the last couple of moments. I mean, the Adepts didn't get too much done. The Prism gets absolutely nothing done. Still can't do anything across the map, this cannon, and just pylons in general going to defend this third base. Still no way for him to break this position. Definitely not with a Mothership core overhead and the ability to overcharge multiple times. It just ain't happening. I see a Stasis Ward going down out the front, and the fourth base from Cell just sat here and waiting to see what is next also. So fourth base just sat over here. We're going to see this Hydra Den again in play, and Musco Augment's coming up. A lot more Hydras coming on in. Cell looking to see what he can do with this in the next minute or two. It'll be an interesting couple of minutes, I think, as we see actually these sentries just about going to be okay there. A couple more Zerglings in the forward position might have been a little bit of trouble in some, as you see the Oracle going down. A few Banes hitting this bottom left-hand side base, but Nice pulls away in plenty of time and doesn't really lose that much, maybe a couple of probes. Just going to be able to rebuild those nice and quickly, so no real issue there at all. So we see Sidestorm on the way up, we see +2 attack on the way up as well, we see another Immortal on the way out, and again, this entire army just joining up together, looking to see what is going on. Two more High Templar going to start morphing in, and yeah, just again, looking to see what's going to happen here as we see the Lings, Banes, and Hydralisks coming in towards the center of the map, and they're going to run forwards. They're going to get us around on that Zealot already, so Zealot does go down, and then continue to come on over to the left-hand side here. This army from Cell, looking to see what is up potentially as well, Zerglings continue to run on forwards. We actually see the Banes to the right-hand side. That's what he doesn't really want to actually connect into him just yet, as the Banes will do a lot of damage. His High Templar don't have Storm for a few more seconds. He needs to keep the High Templar alive to have Storm to fight this army. And he has that now. Is it going to be enough? First High Templar shots coming down. The first Storms are huge, and actually the Hydras are taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. There's just too much from Cell as he runs on forwards. He continues to pick up this army, and that is going to be so much going down. Nice is going to end up dropping game 2. And first series of the day is going to game number 3, which is always great to see. Always great to get up in towards the third game and see a full series, especially in the earlier rounds where a lot of the time the first matches can be a little bit one-sided with higher seed players facing off against lower seed players. Now this is again maybe one of a bit more of the even matches of the round of 32, so nice to see it go into 3 games. As you do see just in the end, another couple of Hydras getting picked off here and there. You know, still gathering on the left then as we see some Lings from the right, the Hydralisk as well. Continue to move on forwards and join up over towards the left, so joining everything up together. You see this Immortal is about to pop from Nice. I mean, can he find a way to hold on? I'm looking at this and trying to think about it, and I just don't see it happening. Again, there's so many Banes, there's so many Lings, it's so unlikely that this is going to happen, so I think this is just one of those moments where you just accept your fate and just realize you got to go into game number 3 to try and move through in this series. I mean, nice shuttle storms coming down, but High Templar does appear. The Zealots will not last too long at all, especially if these Banelings roll them on forwards. There go the Zealots. There's definitely just something missing to this composition of Nice, I think. Just needed a couple Archons, was not ready to really fight this composition properly just yet. Needed a little bit more time to set up, and I mean, the Storm especially would have helped a lot if he had that when the units first ran in. Instead, he was trying to use the Storm as a kind of an afterthought, because he just didn't have the upgrade ready in time. So, a little bits and pieces, and this is going to go the way of Cell. There's the game being called. Cell takes game number 2. And we're tied up about right as we jump back into this best of 3. Let's get going. To the bottom right-hand side of the map, our Red Cross player gear. Nexus first this time around is going to be Nice. It is on the grounds, which gives you this in-base Nexus to work with here. And his opponent to the bottom left is going to be Cell. The yellow Zerg here is going to be opening Hatch, Pool, Hatch Cast, sorry, I'm confused. Hatch Cast Pool into a very quick third hatchery, actually. So, Hatch Cast Pool, but very fast third hatch nonetheless, coming down here in the very early stages. So, setting up into that, an Overlord is going to hang overhead right now from Cell. Going to see the Zealot will pop, and I guess just fill in the gap between the pylon and this kind of wall as well, I suppose, here. So, fill that little bit of a gap and just sort of go from there. Now, link speed does start on up, so link speed on the way. And apart from that, I mean, let's look at Honor Grounds here. So, Honor Grounds is a very interesting map. Again, you got your main base, kind of large, and that's because it does have a natural expansion inside of it. No real way to access this. There's some potential to drop down here, into there, etc. But drops are kind of the only thing that you can rely on right now to get in here. You know, it is always drop play. The third base is very easy to take as well, down on the low ground. It's going to be very easy because, again, the only attack path is in this direction. You're going to have a watchtower right outside of the third base as well, so you're going to be able to utilize that. And, I mean, then where do you go from there? Well, you've got a very easy fourth base and fifth base too. I mean, this base is going to be a bit easier to hold than the high ground ability to kind of attack this base. There's a gold base just up here. These bases are so close together. It's a really weird map because it's almost as though it's like a large macro map. But it actually doesn't feel that large, you know? You can attack across it very quickly. And you can see right now that Cell just has the full intention of just being very aggressive with the set of Zerglings. Now, he's going into an Evo Chamber. He'll get a drop-in Overlord here soon. Unfortunately, he actually lost his first Overlord just now, which is obviously a bit of a pain for him. As here he goes, Zerglings up the ramp, and Mothership Core coming out of position will maybe force this first overcharge, and I think that's exactly what Cell is looking for here. Force an overcharge and just go from there. So he's going to pull his first few Lings back. More Lings coming across. This link foot will continue. And his Watchtower gets taken for a moment or so. And still an MSC just sat nearby as this Overlord trying to get into position to drop. But you can see that Nice is already very well aware of this possibility. As more Zerglings will gather themselves up together. Mothership Core with another set of 50 energy now as well, ready to utilize that overcharge on the high ground. And this is not looking pretty at all. I mean, Resonating Glaives on the way up to 3 extra gates. So there's going to be 4 gates of Glaives here very shortly. That's going to be so much to use against this army as Cell, like so much to use. I was going to see all those Zerglings just gathering up together here on the south side. I mean, they're still looking to just get ready to attack on forwards, right? But, I mean, to what avail? I mean, it's going to be very difficult. Right now there isn't a wall, but now the Adepts make the wall, and double Stargate follow-up as well. And we're just talking about Phoenix and how good they can be when you're already ahead. And this is going to be a perfect example of this. Nice is taking no damage at all against a lot of early pressure, and he's just going to be able to build up a lot of Phoenix and a lot of pressure for his follow-up here. And I mean, there's a lot of Lings on the map right now, which means he probably can't move across the map with his initial Adepts and Glaives. He may try to, but I don't think it'll actually go too well for him. He's just going to stay on the Watchtower. Let's see what happens here. You see the Adepts. He gets around pretty quickly. There's no +1 on these Zerglings just yet, but it's still pretty good fight. You can see a lot of those Adepts going down, only 3 of them surviving. So he has to kind of pull back, but there's even more Adepts ready to go. And even this is good trades at this point, you know. Nice is so far ahead on the economy. that he can, if he trades like that again and again, it just keeps Cell from continuing to drone up. And, if his Cell isn't droning up, then all of a sudden, he's in this position where he's just going to be falling even further behind. He's still on only 37 drones against the 45 probes. And now again, the Phoenix coming into play, they're going to start hunting down Overlords, they're going to get into Mineralize, they're going to pick off drones and Queens and all sorts. This is just going to be a disaster here from Cell. But let's see if he can find a way to fight back. I mean, Baneling Nest is on the way up, and a set of Miracle Baneling hits could be the answer for him when it comes to trying to defend against this attack, perhaps. So that's definitely one possibility. As these Adepts just going to sit on this right-hand watchtower, and well, there's one Zerglin getting taken down here right away. Third Nexus is on the way up as well. Again, you're expecting a later third Nexus with this composition from Nice. You can see the Adepts already starting to shade backwards as here you go again. The Lynx just come forwards and they'll start to fight this. And again, they actually, with +1 melee, they get rid of these Adepts pretty quickly. And with an overcharge here, it's a much different affair, and definitely does have to turn away from this position. But, I mean, that's the problem, right? He's just trading away some more Zerglings to not really gain an advantage anyways. And now these Phoenix arrive in the mineral line, and Drone's just going to keep on going down. He's out of energy already, but, I mean, yeah, he's out of energy, but he's already done enough. He's picked off a few drones, and he just keeps on putting Cell in this position where it's very difficult for him to establish any sort of resemblance of a proper economy here, of a proper mid-game, setup for himself. You can see a few more of those Zerglings heading on over to the left-hand side. A few of these Phoenix down the south continue to move around as well and see what else they can do. Two more Phoenix building on up here. The +1 air weapons going to be finishing very shortly on this Cybernetics core as well. As you do see, Adepts are shading backwards once again, or shading forwards? There they are, actually shading forwards. I feel like you just get to this sort of point where you just say, like, oh man, like, okay, I get it, like, there's just too much here. Cell's just going to GG out. Nice just has way too much, like, even if the Bane just went off somewhat decently, the Phoenix alone are going to do too much damage, I think, and Cell realizes that,